Hi YouTube friends, and welcome to my little corner of the internet where today I am going to be just speaking on some thoughts that I had on the recent episode of The Bachelorette, Michelle Young's season. Okay, so week 3 starts off and several of the guys are talking about how last week's cocktail party wasn't handled well. We don't hear about it again until this week's cocktail party, so awesome. So in the first group date, they're doing the Air Museum, the G4 doohickey thingy. I just felt bad for them. But before that, Martin pulling Michelle aside, I thought was super sweet. He seemed really nervous to be pulling a move like that. So I think that just speaks more to him doing it in general. It's what he wanted to do, so he went ahead and did it. And I don't know, I thought it was a really sweet gesture to just check in with her and see how she's doing. And I think that that was a great thing for Michelle too. From her point of view, she's thinking that there's several guys in the house that are questioning her character. So to have one of the guys pull her aside and just be like, just wanted to make sure that you were doing okay after last week, like that had to mean so much to her. So yeah, I thought that was great. The G4 simulator, I did not think was great. Of course, Peter gets angry at Will because Peter's always angry at Will. Obviously, Will just sort of won that moment because at the end, Michelle asks if he needs a puke bucket and he just so weakly but adorably says, "I need you." Like, how do you beat that? You can't. He won. From that line alone. The group date goes into the dog fight, which, who are pairing these people up? And I'm not even talking about Peter and Will, because that was duh. Like, everyone saw that coming from a mile away. I'm talking about Clayton and Nate. Clayton is twice Nate's side. I'm not talking about height, just he's a pro football player. Like, he's not just any football player. And then there's Nate. I don't know, it's not a fair fight. That's all I'm saying. I think Clayton and Olu should have been going head to head, but going into the night portion, Clayton's one-on-one time with Michelle, that hug looked like, we have mutual friends and I've heard about you, but this is my first time meeting you sort of vibes. Peter and Will in a shouting match. I did love the other guys during that, how they were just sitting in the center, just drinking, trying to ignore, and then one by one, they're leaving. Except for Nate, who's just like, I'm not moving, but y'all are stupid. Peter throws the jacket in the pool, juvenile. Will's reaction was shocking though, like he was hurt. I felt so bad for him, but Nate honestly gave him the best advice. Don't do anything, don't give any attention over there, and you will appear the bigger man, and that's just straight up facts. Rodney's one-on-one. I do think that Rodney is a really great listener because during their dinner portion, Michelle's talking about how her parents protect each other, and like her mom especially protects her dad most of the time, but he also protects her, and she never experienced that herself, which prompted him to ask like that really tough question, but kind of an important one, of what went wrong in your last relationship. And she tells her story, which is, I mean, but it was a moment that they could relate to each other. Rodney having an ex with a similar situation happening, and he was able to circle it back to Michelle's fear of complacency, you know, and he just rolls right into, this is what I'm looking for in a wife, and you not only excite me, you make it so easy for me to be myself, and there's trust there, and I know that anything being thrown at us we can get through together. Like, oh my goodness, what a poet. It's just, I think he did a fantastic job. He's such a sweetheart. I think he's gonna get his heart broken, but he's such a sweetheart. Let's see, second group date now. Jamie's like ITMs and voiceovers, editing just literally through every slightly condescending, borderline misogynistic, egotistical, just big-headed thing that he's ever said on mic in this episode. We got to hear it all. The whole spoken word thing, I think all the guys did really great. They all dug in pretty deep. Except Jamie, who lost his book. Where? It's a hotel. Like, anyway, lost his book, and so decided he was gonna spit from the heart and tell a little story about a girl getting lost in the woods and talking to her guardian angel. Yeah, anyway, Michelle going up and very eloquently, but also it was impactful, you know, her telling of how it was growing up for her, and it, you know, and her aims of wanting to be a role model for other little girls of color. It was just beautifully written and executed. You know, all the guys standing up, of course. And I did like, she walked off the stage and Martin gives her a little hand grab over there. I noticed that. I thought that was really sweet. Yes, they go into the night portion. Brandon being smitten, and I think Michelle might be a little smitten too, so kind of curious to see how that goes forward. I do think Brandon's gonna get his heart broken. Also, actually, Brandon's heart is gonna be crushed. Rodney will be okay. Kind of worry about Brandon. But he did get, you know, the second group date rose in a row, and it's week 3. Jamie talking to the producer, I mean, oi. Just oi. Like the things he was, wow. Anyway, cocktail party. Oh my god. As I was watching Michelle's entrance, and not even the entrance to the guys, the entrance for us as the viewers at home, that camera pan, like that guy, that cameraman deserves a raise. He knew what he was doing. That pan from like floor up as she's walking in this stunning number, that color, oh my god. Yeah, if you want to see my reaction to that, check out my reaction videos. That was a moment. I did like Nate's little grab. He was such a gentleman about it too. He's like, did y'all cheers Michelle, because I'm gonna steal her away for a minute. But honestly, like, from the steal away to the runaway to, I feel we're setting a solid foundation to, like, I think we really, you know, vibe each other equally. I think he definitely can feel it. Like, they're just mutually very into each other, you know. And then him asking, like, do you trust, is this a Disney movie? Am I watching a romance? Like, when's the release date? What theater is it at? I will be there. I will be there to watch. It was adorable. Anyway, moving on. I liked how Rick approached the topic with Michelle. I think he did it very gently. He was just like, you know, I know most of these guys, and they're great guys, and no one's been talking about you or questioning you in any sort of way like that. So the way he said it was, I don't know, but, you know, and then she told him that, I'm surprised, because it was Jamie. And then Rick's like, I'm surprised. He seems like someone who would own up to that. I'm like, yeah, he seems like someone who would own up to that. I think he just gives off that impression. You know, and then Rick goes and he's talking to Casey and leading man Nate. But then Nate's just like, let's just call Jamie over and have a conversation about it, which points to leading man Nate. And so, you know, Jamie is just rambling and fumbling and literally making it up on the spot of how he's going to answer. Nate is catching him in every lie, and it's just like, who was talking? You were in your room, so how do you know people were talking about it? Wait, the viewers? What about the view? Why are we talking about the viewers? Like, Nate just at every single, you know, just put a halt to all the fumbling that Jamie was doing, and then getting agitated and irritated because Jamie's clearly just talking not even really in circles. He's just going all over the place, and the conversation's obviously not going anywhere. He's not going to own up to it. So I mean, again, points to leading man Nate for just being like, listen, I'm getting annoyed and agitated, so we're just gonna drop this. I'm walking away. Like, the mature thing to do. But now, you know, all the guys are finding out. They're all addressing Jamie. Jamie's speaking nonsense again until Michelle comes. And I just, like, Leroy smile. amidst like all of the turmoil going on with Jamie, and Michelle's coming in. She doesn't even have a smile on, but Leroy's got a giant smile on for her, which was just precious. She asked Jamie to sort of clarify, and I think she handled that really well. She didn't really get emotional about it. And then she apologizes to all the guys because she's like, I didn't want to have this conversation in front of all of you, so I'm just going to take Jamie aside. Over here, when she does speak with Jamie outside, I was like, you could hear it in her voice that she was close to tears. She was genuinely hurt. She trusted Jamie and actually saw a potential with a future with him. And I understand her fear afterwards when she's talking about, what if someone that I trust is actually untrustworthy? I mean, over here again, she just sort of states and admits that, like, you hurt me and the trust is broken and I can't move forward with this. A polite woman through and through. She still says have a good night and sends him on his way, because that's our leading lady. When she comes back to talk to the guys, and what she had to say there was everything. I mean, I wrote the quote down because it was just, as everything with her, just beautifully said. Give the leading lady an Emmy, an Oscar, a Tony, a Grammy, all the awards. People's Choice, all of them. And then after that, you know, because obviously she's going to cancel the cocktail party, because again, what are you going to talk about after that? As she's walking up the stairs, Nate watching her go up. If I can figure it out, I'll put a clip of that, because he just looks like he wants to go up there and hold her. Anyway, I'll end this with Will's toast, because also just beautifully said. Cheers to a woman who handles herself with class when adversity hits. Cheers to you, Michelle. She's seriously one of the best bachelorettes ever. So next week also looks like it's just gonna be crazy. I mean, this week knocked out 2 villains, so of course another one has to come in its place. I've been wondering why Chris S was there anyway, so this makes sense. Tracks. So join me next week. Yeah, maybe I'll see you then. Okay, yeah, that's about it. Toodles.